I'm Rick Harp. This is your APTN News Brief for Tuesday, April 23rd. We begin in Kenora, Ontario, where a man acquitted of murdering 15-year-old Tina Fontaine was reportedly found dead Monday. Fontaine's body was found back in 2014 in Winnipeg's Red River. 4 years later, a jury found Raymond Cormier not guilty of second-degree murder in her death. Thelma Favel, Fontaine's great-aunt, told APTN the Winnipeg Police Service broke the news to her of Cormier's death on Friday. The police did not immediately respond to APTN's request for comment. Still in Manitoba, where suspected serial killer Jeremy Skibicki will soon stand trial, and yesterday, family members of his alleged victims conducted a pipe ceremony. Sierra Bettens was there.
I'm here at the Forks, where the families of Mercedes Myron, Rebecca Contois, and Morgan Harris and supporters are gathered for a pipe ceremony. The ceremony is taking place a week before the trial of alleged serial killer Jeremy Skibicki, who is accused of killing 4 Indigenous women. Offerings of tobacco were given, and they will be taken to the courthouse on the day of the trial. Skibicki's trial takes place on April 29th in Winnipeg. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Turning to Thunder Bay's embattled police service, which is once again the subject of renewed calls for disbandment. They come from families who've lost loved ones in the city, deaths they want to see investigated by a new police service. And on Monday, complaints were filed with the Inspector General of Policing in Ontario. Savannah Kelly has more.
We're still waiting for answers today.
Dozens of family members and First Nations leaders held a press conference at Queen's Park in Toronto. Family members believe the deaths of their loved ones were not credibly investigated. 14-year-old Mackenzie Munias from Niskandaga First Nation was found deceased in the water at Marina Park on December 18, 2023. 31-year-old Corey Bolesky was murdered in November 2022. Of the 15 homicides in Thunder Bay that year, Bolesky's is the only case where no charges have been laid. Here is some of what the family members of Munias and Bolesky had to say.
I was with the family. I was with the mother, Vanessa, when that investigator said, we're going to find out what happened. We're going to give you answers. And they haven't done that. And we need answers. She was only 14 years old. She's gone. She was robbed of her life.
The Thunder Bay police need to do their jobs. They need to forget about the skin color of people. Because regardless of what, Corey meant the world to me and my family. So Corey needs to get justice as well as these other families here. For me, as a mom to Corey, I will never stop. I will try to keep fighting for my son. And I will. I will bring those people to justice that murdered my son. Police can't do it here in Thunder Bay. Well, we'll get somebody else to do it for us.
The fresh calls to disband the Thunder Bay Police Service and its board comes off the heels of charges against the former chief of police, the police service's in-house lawyer, and a staff sergeant. Lawyer Julian Faulkner is representing the families in their complaints to the Inspector General.
There's very few legal avenues families can take. The one that is now being pursued is this Inspectorate of Policing. They don't have another lawsuit. There's no class action. So this is it. This complaint, this new body that the Deputy Minister, Mario Di Tommaso, told Nan Chiefs publicly was the place to go, now has the responsibility to do the right thing, create options for these families outside of the Thunder Bay Police Service, and remove what is a proxy for a police service.
In a statement, the Inspector General of Policing said he's reviewing the complaints carefully. He says he's committed to ensuring adequate and effective policing is delivered to Thunder Bay and its diverse communities. Both the Thunder Bay Chief of Police and board have issued statements. They'll speak with media later today following a board meeting. And finally, a drug consumption site created to address Winnipeg's large number of overdose deaths has received high marks for its effectiveness. Sav Jonesa explains.
The first year of Winnipeg's only mobile overdose prevention site exceeded expectations, a new report finds. Lark Consulting evaluated the effectiveness of the harm reduction service, where visitors can consume drugs with supervision to help prevent overdose deaths.
The overdose prevention site has been a success and continues to be a success.
Kernil Asland is a consultant who worked on the report, which looks at the period between October 2022 and October 2023. It found that the site had more than 26,000 visitors in its first year. Around 7,000 of those visits were to consume drugs like meth. Despite thousands of visits, there were only 20 overdoses during that time. But most importantly, there were 0 deaths. According to Manitoba's chief medical examiner, preliminary data shows 445 people died of drug-related causes in Manitoba last year.
That overlaps with a lot of the period of our evaluation, but we also want to highlight that none of those deaths took place at the mobile overdose prevention site. And that's the point. It's a safe space. It's a safe space for people to access services, access supports, connect with community, and sometimes use drugs, and do it in a way that's safe and keeps them alive. So they're still around tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
People who use drugs helped provide support and guidance to the service. Peer Support Program Coordinator Ali Seidlitz says they were integral to its success.
This program is the perfect example of the magic that can happen when you give people who use drugs the opportunities and the agency and the respect they deserve.
Despite the success, the report urges that MOPS is not the end-all solution to the toxic drug crisis, and a more permanent supervised consumption site is needed. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
And that's your APTN News Brief for Tuesday, April 23rd. I'm Rick Harp.